Okay, let me do a little. I'm with a few friends here at Timmins the Mission, and Heather. There's Heather, and that's Debbie. I'm not going to show my other friend. He don't want to be on today.
That's fine.
She always asks me for a verse when I would come up to the mission.
Yeah,
so
that's me. I gotta have my message.
Last night I read one of the letters in Revelation, the letters to the 7 churches in Revelation chapter 2. So I read just one of them, and I remembered one verse. Now I forget if it's Revelation 2:10, but the quote I gave for Heather, and she liked it, and now she's writing it. She's trying to write it, in her own words. So we've been talking about it here for about 40 minutes, but it said, the devil will cast some of you into jail or into prison, and you will have tribulation 10 days. But be faithful, and then I'm going to give you a crown of life. Now, some of our friends actually are in jail right now. There's about 2 or 3. I'm writing one of my friends in jail. And so Heather said, and that 10 days, John, it's just like a general number speaking of they're going to have testing. I said, that's correct. 10 is not specifically saying 10 days, but that some of our friends, their trial is going to be, they're going to have to do a little time in jail and all. Now, Heather's asking for a pen because she wants to write it. She says, John, quote it to Stephanie. I said, no, that's your job. I quote it once, and I kid her. Like, you're the one that's got to quote it to everybody else. Now, they're sitting here talking about that verse for like 20 minutes now. Heather's writing it, and I said, oh, let me do a little video. But the other chapter, here's a story you didn't hear yet. Listen to this one.
Here's the rest of the story.
The other chapter I read last night is in the book of 2 Kings. Now, I wasn't going to teach it, and I just read it last night. But listen to what happened. There's an enemy army that's coming against the nation of Israel. And this is the nation of Syria fighting the nation of Israel. And back in those days, when you had a war against another country, you would call what we say besiege the country. All those countries then, those cities had like walls around them, and you had gates to the walls. So if an enemy's coming, shut the gates, put the guards on the towers, and so what they would do is they would surround that city, and they would not let anybody go in or come out, meaning no supplies are going in, nothing's coming out. And after a while, what happens in the city is everybody starts starving to death. We read one occasion in the Bible where it got so bad, as a matter of fact, I read this in Kings recently, that one of the women was on the wall, and she said to the king, "Oh, king, I have a request," because the city is in this besiegement. As a matter of fact, it's the same story now that I'm thinking of it. So the king says, "What can I do for you? Am I God? What do you want me to do?" And the woman says this, "Here's my problem. The other lady said, we both have children, we both have sons, newborns, and she made a promise with me. If we boil and cook my son today and eat him, tomorrow I'll cook mine. And so yesterday we cooked my child, and today she's refusing to give me her son." That's how bad it was. And the king rent his clothes and said, "Look at this." That's how bad it was getting. All right. Look, that's that's Debbie and Heather. That's a true story. Okay, what happens
they
now?
Didn't do that. I mean, that's how fed up they were. They were getting,
yes, they were.
To that point, they were like, "Here, man."
They were under that.
Just done.
They were under that siege. It was like
I mean?
the enemy had them surrounded. Now, here's the one actually I wanted to
Desperate.
tell. But that one did happen at this period of time. Now, there are 4 lepers sitting at the gate. You guys know what leprosy is, right? Okay, leprosy is like a very bad disease that if you had leprosy back in that day, everybody avoided you. So it's so bad, there's 4 lepers at the gate. And this is at the time of Elisha the prophet. And the 4 lepers are sitting at the gate. And Elisha, he's before all the leaders, and he makes his prophecy. He says, tomorrow, the food is going to be so abundant, it's going to be selling so cheap that you won't believe your eyes. Now, this is in the middle of this besiegement, meaning everything was expensive. They had no food. They were starving to death. And how could the next day, everything's going to be so cheap? You're going to have enough bread and food and everything. And the prophet said that to the people. This is the chapter in Kings that we're in, 2 Kings. And one of the guys said to Elisha, the prophet, "That's impossible. What's God going to do? Open up the windows of heaven and rain upon us? And Elijah said this, because you're doubting it, you're going to see it with your eyes, but you are not going to partake of it. Okay, now, there's 4 lepers at the gate. What do they do at this time in this chapter, whatever chapter I'm in? They say this, what are we sitting here at the gate all day? We're in trouble, we're poor, we're starving to death, and we're lepers. Why are we just sitting in the same place? If we go back into the city, we're going to die and starve to death. Okay, if we go back into the bluff, things are not going to be good. If we sit at the gate, we're going to die anyway. And they said, why don't we just go to the enemy Syrians? And if they kill us, so we just die. That's in the Bible.
And
They
they
said
get leprosy.
they had the leprosy already.
Oh, they're gonna
They
use those
said,
disease to help
there's no
people."
hope for us here. If we go back to where we were in the city, we're going to starve anyway.
'cause they
They
have the
said,
disease.
why don't we just go to the enemy? And if he kills us, he kills us. So what happens
Right, and
is
they got their germs on
these
now.
these 4 lepers go to the enemy camp, the army that's invading them. Guess what they find? Everything,
leprosy, their whole
all
tribe's
of
got
their,
leprosy, huh?
all of their riches, their food, their
Stay in there.
bread, their
Listen,
gold,
listen, Bubba,
everything. Hello, brother. I'm doing a Bible study. Everything is spread in the open and abandoned.
Huh? So they take back those-
And it says in this chapter, Elisha the prophet, when he did this supernatural event, it said God caused the enemy army, the Syrians, to hear these chariots and these horses. These are the chariots of God. And when they heard it, when the Syrian army heard it that evening, they thought that they were
Check
being
it out.
attacked, so they all left. They all left the camps, they left all their
That's what we
goods.
should.
So what happens is what do the 4 lepers do? They
Pick it up.
find all this food, they find all this money, they start going from tent to tent, and listen what they do.
Yeah.
They're eating all the food in each tent. They're hiding all the thing. It says they're hiding it like in the ground.
They're scavenging.
And then,
Yeah.
yes, and one of the
Like we do.
lepers, these are basically like homeless
I never knew
people.
that.
Yeah,
One of them
yes.
says, you know what? We're doing a bad thing.
We're doing bad
Today
things.
is a day where God blessed us. We have all this stuff, and we're hiding it. We're keeping it to ourselves. We're not sharing it.
We're
Let's go
selfish.
back to the king and tell him what happened. So they go back to the king.
So
They
sorry,
say,
sir, we're
we
selfish.
found all this thing, and the king
We're gonna
doubts
keep
it
it
a
all
little
for
bit.
ourselves.
The king says, this is a trap. The Syrians left the camp. They want us to go out of the city, and they're going to kill us. And one of the leaders of one of the leadership says to the king, let's just send a scouting camp in, scouting party in. If it's true, we'll find out. If not, they'll just kill the scouting party. So they sent some spies out. They check it out. They come back to the king and say, it's true. They left. They fled. Everything's there.
Yeah,
Everything
they got
turned
blessed,
around.
and then they were
But
gonna be selfish.
Elisha the prophet
So they're
said
telling
that
the
was
king.
going to happen. And they said, remember the guy who said, even if God opens the windows, how can this happen? That guy, the king, when all this occurred now, the king said, it's all great, it's free, let's go get
on,
it.
Papa,
The
listen.
king put that guy in charge of the gate, and it says they ran him down and killed him because he said, Elisha the prophet said, you're going to see it with
but
your
not
eyes, but you're not going to partake of it. So what happened was the prophecy came through, everything turned around in one day, and God did a tremendous miracle. And I like with the lepers, the 4 lepers, I like their words. They said, if we go back to the city, we die. If we stay at the gate, we die. And if we go to the enemy and he kills us, we but die. I laughed when I read it last night. Now I'm
why not?
familiar with the story. That's what they said. We're going to die here. We're going to die at the gate. Well, might as well go ahead and take it all. And if we get killed, we just get killed. But it was God used them to open up this great miraculous
Part
work.
of God's plan.
So that was the story. That's Heather and Debbie. Who wants to say the prayer? My other friend don't want to be on video.
Okay, you say it.
Somebody has to say the prayer.
Say a prayer for the day.
Nope,
And
nope,
she's
you asked
right.
for that.
I
Yes.
can't talk. Yeah.
I'll do it. If you all are chick, look, I want my friend to do the prayer, but I'm not giving his
Okay.
name
Oh, she'll do
because
it.
he don't want to be on video.
She'll do it.
He can do it too. He prayed with me the
We'll
other
do the
day.
simple
Praise
prayer that everybody knows. Okay. Heavenly Father. Oh, how's that go?
You can do
That
one.
one, our daily bread. How's it start?
Which one?
The daily bread one.
Oh, our Father in heaven.
Our Father
In heaven.
in heaven,
That's-
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. But lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For it's thy the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever.
You know, many times,
Thank you, honey.
You know, many times I've run into guitar chasing over the years. He'll stop me and say, let's do the Lord's Prayer, like right in the street we do that.
Yeah.
He often, thank you
Yes.
guys. God
Thank
bless
you,
everybody.
honey.